My stepdad assaulted me when I was a kid. No one believed me, not even my mother. Throwaway account. I don't know if this is the right place to post, but I just need someone to hear me out. When I was 12, my life had already been through enough. My dad, my real dad, passed away when I was just a kid. After that, it felt like half of me disappeared. His family never stayed in touch with us after the funeral. They didn't call, didn't visit, didn't check in. It was like once my dad was gone, so was my connection to that entire side of my family. So it was just me and my mom. When she met someone new, she told me it was our second chance. She said this man was going to give us stability, security, and the kind of love we both needed. Everyone in town adored him. He was charming, funny, and most importantly, the sheriff. People literally trusted him with their lives. But behind closed doors, he wasn't the man everyone thought he was. When the first incident happened, I was too scared to even understand what I was feeling. I finally told my mom. I told her that he wasn't who he pretended to be when other people were around. She didn't believe me. She said I was confused, that I must have misunderstood. Then she said something that broke me. "Don't you dare lie about this. You'll ruin our family." So I went to the police. I walked into the station shaking, trying to explain everything. And do you know what they did? They laughed. They told me I must have misunderstood, because he was the sheriff. Who is going to believe a 12-year-old over him? I even told my aunt, my mom's sister. I thought if anyone would believe me, it would be her. She told me I needed to stop acting out and that I was hurting my mother with my stories. That was the first time I realized something terrifying. I was completely on my own. The years after that were the hardest years of my life. Imagine being a kid, waking up every morning in a house where the person who's supposed to protect and serve the community is the same person you fear most. I learned to live two lives. At school, I smiled, laughed at the right jokes, tried to look normal. At home, I walked on eggshells. I memorized which floorboards creaked so I wouldn't make noise at night. I learned how to keep my face blank so he wouldn't see fear and feel stronger because of it. Every time I tried to confide in someone, a teacher, a school counselor, even a family friend, the words somehow found their way back to him. He had eyes and ears everywhere. Once, I spoke to a neighbor I trusted, and the very next day, my stepdad cornered me and whispered in my ear, "People will always take my word over yours." And he was right. In public, he played the role of the perfect stepdad, generous, supportive, protective. People saw me as the troubled kid who just didn't appreciate him. My mom started avoiding me, pulling further and further away, until she barely looked at me. She chose him over me every single time. I went back to the police at least twice more as I got older. The response was always the same: smirks, pitying looks, and dismissals. Because what kind of town accuses its sheriff? At one point, desperate, I reached out to a cousin from my dad's side of the family. I hadn't spoken to them in years. My dad died when I was so young, and after his funeral, his family practically cut ties with us. But I thought maybe blood meant something. I thought maybe if they knew what was happening, they'd protect me the way my dad would have. I finally got one of them on the phone. My hands were shaking so bad I nearly dropped it. I poured everything out, every detail I could manage without breaking down completely. And when I finished, there was just silence. Then, finally, "I think you're just confused. Maybe you should stop exaggerating." It felt like no one in this world wanted to hear me, like the truth was too inconvenient, too ugly, so everyone chose to look away. Nights were the worst. I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, wishing my dad was still alive, wondering if he'd believe me. I prayed for someone, anyone, to step in, but nobody did. I can't explain the loneliness of knowing the truth while the entire world calls you a liar. I spent years silently carrying something that nearly destroyed me. But one night, after another failed attempt to get anyone to listen, I realized I couldn't keep waiting for help. If no one was willing to believe my words, then I'd have to give them something they couldn't ignore. By the time I turned 17, I had saved up enough money from babysitting and part-time jobs to buy a small hidden camera. I'd been planning it for months, obsessing over the details. Where could I hide it? How could I make sure he wouldn't find it? How could I protect myself if he ever suspected? The day I finally ordered it, I remember my hands trembling over the keyboard. It felt like buying my own freedom, but also like signing a death sentence if he discovered it. When it arrived, I hid it in my room. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Most of the time, it caught nothing but me sitting in silence, staring at my homework, pretending my life was normal. But then, finally, it happened. The recording was crystal clear. His words, his actions, the way he threatened me when I tried to resist it was all there. Watching it back, I felt sick, but I also felt relief. For once, I had something no one could dismiss as a misunderstanding. I didn't take it to the local police. I knew better than that. Instead, I gathered everything and sent it directly to state investigators. I wrote a long email, attached the video files, and hit send while tears ran down my face. For the first time in years, someone actually listened. The investigation moved fast after that. My stepdad, the man everyone swore was incapable of doing anything wrong, was arrested. He tried to call it a setup, but the video didn't lie. When the news broke, the whole town was in shock. People who once looked at me like I was broken or unstable suddenly couldn't meet my eyes. Some tried to apologize, but their words felt hollow. Where were they when I was 12 and begging for help? My mom was stunned, speechless. She couldn't look me in the eyes. She still hasn't. Sometimes I wonder if she's more angry at him or at me for shattering the illusion she clung to for so long. And me? For the first time, I felt free. Not healed. Those scars will always be there, but free. It took years for the truth to come out. But in the end, the camera saw what no one wanted to believe.